Our top story: amid the war of words over Brexit in Parliament, now the British Prime Minister Theresa May has warned that a no new deal would appear miraculously if they voted down the existing deal. Theresa May asked the members of British Parliament to back the deal in the best interests of their constituencies and the country as well. Despite her request, the government appeared to be in a collision course with an increasingly assertive Parliament over the next steps in UK's exit. Earlier, British Prime Minister Theresa May suffered embarrassing blows, one after the other, when lawmakers found the government in contempt of Parliament for refusing to publish advice from the country's top law officer over Brexit. The House of Commons voted 311 to 293 in favour of a motion by opposition parties censuring the government for failing to reveal the full Brexit guidance. The British Parliament is to vote on December 11th on the Brexit deal.
Mr. Speaker. And don't let anyone here think that there's a better deal to be won by shouting louder. Don't imagine that if we vote this down, a different deal is going to miraculously appear. The alternative is uncertainty and risk. The risk that Brexit could be stopped. The risk we could crash out with no deal. And the only certainty would be uncertainty. Bad for our economy and bad for our standing in the world. And that is not in the national interest. The alternative is for this House to lead our country forward into a brighter future. I don't say that this deal is perfect. It was never going to be. That's the nature of a negotiation. Yes, it is a compromise. It speaks to the hopes and desires of our fellow citizens who voted to leave and those who voted to stay in. And we will not bring our country together if we seek a relationship that gives everything to one side of the argument and nothing to the other. We should not let the search for the perfect Brexit prevent a good Brexit that delivers for the British people.
Meanwhile, Britain's pro-Brexit Trade Minister Liam Fox has thrown his comments in and said there is a possibility that Brexit would not happen. There was a real danger that Parliament would try to steal Brexit from the British people. And the US investment bank JP Morgan has also said that the chances of Britain calling off its divorce from the European Union had increased after a string of humiliating parliamentary defeats for the Prime Minister Theresa May. Sterling Pound, which has seesawed since Brexit referendum touched a 17-month low, but later recouped losses after optimism grew that Britain may not leave the European Union without a deal in place. And while joining us to talk a little bit more about what is the future of Brexit and Theresa May in all of this is Ollie Barrett, who joins us now from London. And Ollie, thanks very much for talking to us this evening. Your thoughts on this increasingly aggressive stand that the Parliament has been able to take, and it seems that Parliament, or the House of Commons, is now seeming more in charge of how Brexit pans out than Theresa May herself.
That's exactly right. Parliament certainly asserting itself, flexing its muscles, and one of the amendments that was put forward yesterday, which Theresa May's government lost in Parliament, could be crucial in all of this, because what it does is essentially give MPs in Parliament much more power if Theresa May's deal is voted down by Parliament next week. In that scenario, MPs would have much more say in the future direction of Brexit, much more say in suggesting newer types of arrangements that don't go along the lines of the deal that Theresa May has reached with Brussels. At the same time, that may, funnily enough, give Theresa May a little bit of a boost in terms of making the argument to the Brexiteers in her party, those MPs who want Britain to come out of the European Union in a clean or hard fashion, as it's sometimes called, because she can say to them, look, if you don't give me this deal, if you don't let me get this deal through Parliament, you may end up with the type of Brexit that is utterly detestable to you, a soft Brexit, staying in the European Union in all but name. So yesterday, Tuesday, was a nightmare day for Theresa May in the House of Commons, no doubt about that at all, but she may have just come out of it with one idea, which is going to make her much more able to make the case to the Brexiteer MPs in her own party. She's still got a huge distance to travel, though, if she wants to win that vote on Tuesday. It still looks very, very difficult indeed as things stand.
Right, and of course, as you're pointing out, her own party very upset with her, as is the opposition, and she's also backtracked on a few things, trying to push her case on the larger issue of Brexit, agreeing to make the full disclosure of the legal advice that was given on Brexit.
Yeah, that legal advice is now out, and certainly if you are one of those MPs who's very concerned about the backstop solution that's been put together to keep to make sure there is no hard border between Northern Ireland and Ireland after Brexit, then you will be perhaps, if anything, more concerned having read this legal advice. It talks about the backstop arrangement with the EU potentially enduring indefinitely. The legal advice from the Attorney General says it would be difficult for the UK to lawfully exit the agreement without a new political agreement, and it says that this could lead to stalemate in that regard. So if you're one of those MPs who is concerned about the deal that Theresa May has struck, leaving Britain in some kind of perpetual purgatory, then the legal advice that's just been published will certainly leave you feeling still concerned about the deal that Theresa May has signed up to, and perhaps, if anything, even less minded to vote for it come next Tuesday.
All right, Ollie Barrett, thanks very much indeed for joining us. The latest on Brexit and Theresa May's fate that hangs in the balance with all of that. Thanks for that.